From Cy Donnelly Field on the campus of St. Anthony's High School, the Varsity Media Sports Network presents this Catholic AAA showdown between the visiting Flyers from Chaminade, who come from Mineola out here to South Huntington to take on the Friars of St. Anthony's. This game is presented by Maspeth Federal Savings. Dylan Butler here with Pat Godfrey, the former national champion lineman at Clemson at a Harbor Field, and Pat, Chaminade, St. Anthony's. It's a rivalry renewed. First time since 2018 they've played in a game that really, truly matters. Not a better way to start the football season here for us at Varsity Media and certainly on Long Island as well.
Absolutely, Dylan. You know, Auburn, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, Army, Navy, Chaminade, St. Anthony's. This is one of the great rivalries in all of New York sports. Every time these teams get together, there's a lot of bad blood. And, hey, what better atmosphere could you ask for than a beautiful Friday night here in South Huntington? The
Flyers of Chaminade, you see them there across the field. They were 7-3 a year ago. They beat Moore Catholic 43-7 in the AA-1 championship. Pat, it wasn't the championship they wanted to play in. They wanted to be in the AAA. They lost in the regular season to Kellenberg. It was a defeat that ultimately put them in the AA-1, but they made the most of it, beating Moore Catholic for their second consecutive AA-1 title. But now Chaminade are back in the AAA. They are the 5th seed preseason. And they've got a squad that can certainly make some noise here this year.
Absolutely. Last time we saw these guys play, they were firing on all cylinders. And here, this year, they get the opportunity that they wanted last year, which is to play, compete in the AAA, and show that they belong up there with the best of the best in all of New York Catholic football. I think today is a great opportunity for them to do so.
Chaminade has some fantastic players on both sides of the football, and we'll take a look at our impact players on both sides of the football now for the Flyers of Chaminade. And on offense, you're going to love this one, right? Because you're the former offensive lineman. You got Mason Dietrich, the big man up front, the only returning starting lineman for the Flyers. And Charlie Battaglia on the other side of the football, leading the way, the emotional and physical leader as that returning starting linebacker.
Absolutely, Dylan. You know, starting with Dietrich, he plays center, which is, typically the brains of the offensive line. And, boy, is he a smart guy. He's already carrying into this game offers from Lehigh, Marist, Amherst, and others, some of the best schools in the whole country. And at 6'4", 275, he's going to be a mauler and a big presence there on the interior OL for Chaminade. Now, on the flip side, Charlie Battaglia, he's been a guy they've been relying on for years as an outspoken leader on this Chaminade team. He's a guy who knows how to find the ball, prototypical linebacker size at 6 foot 220, and prepare to hear his name a lot all night long. He's going to have a great night if the Flyers want to come in here and pull off the upset against the home Friar team.
When we last saw St. Anthony's, they lost a heartbreaker to Iona Prep, 35-28 in double overtime in the Catholic AAA semifinals. 3 losses in league last year, Pat, by a combined 12 points. You had the 40-36 loss to Stepanak, the 35-34 regular season loss to Iona. Those were games where they had big leads and they didn't finish it out. The Iona postseason game was just a matter of a play here and a play there. A lot of veterans back this year, Pat, who learned their lesson from those defeats, and they look to turn that into something special here as they're kind of used to the tradition that St. Anthony's has.
Absolutely. Last year, a lot of people thought that St. Anthony's had a chance to make a run all the way to the state championship. Obviously, they played Iona tighter than anybody played Iona all last season from New York State. But just a couple of plays really stood between them and the dreams that they had laid out for last season. This year, they're bringing back a lot. All their playmakers are back with a lot of experience, ready to go. And they're going to look to make a statement tonight that, hey, we are that team of old, that St. Anthony's team that's going to return us to greatness where these people feel they belong.
Let's take a look at their players to watch on both sides of the football and on offense. A guy that pretty much everyone nationally seems to know about, right? K.J. Duff, the junior. 6'5", 200, 35 receptions for nearly 700 yards and 5 TDs a year ago. He's got a lot of schools interested in him. On the other side of the football, Ian Strong, already a Rutgers commit. He's moving up the field this year, Pat. He's going to be a safety for the Scarlet Knights. Played at corner a year ago. but he's going to be a linebacker looking to make an impact on every play this year.
Absolutely. Both of these guys are obviously national recruits, getting a lot of Power 5 interest. Starting with KJ Duff, he has all of the size and the skill that you're going to look for in a prototypical wide receiver. He can go up, make those plays on 50-50 balls, and gain separation when he needs to. He's a very talented and dynamic guy. He's going to look to make a step up from the outstanding sophomore year that he had last year and kind of assert himself as the top receiver in all of New York State this year. Now, on the flip side of the ball, Ian Strong, the Rutgers commit, is going to be moving down into that front seven and giving himself the ability to be around the ball every single play. So I think Coach Minucci is going to really be relying on Strong to have his nose around the ball and try and stifle this attack coming from Chaminade.
Pat, we'll take a look at the keys here for both teams coming in to this rivalry showdown. And for the Flyers of Chaminade, it comes down to something pretty simple. You want to nullify those great playmakers that St. Anthony's has, so many of them. How do you do it? The best way you do it is you keep the football. They want to dominate offensive possessions. They need to move the chains, but also equally important, they can't waste plays. Those penalties, fumbles, drop balls, they are drive killers. They want to move the football. And for St. Anthony's, they want to be efficient on offense, and yes, they want to get the ball to all those different playmakers. They want to establish the run, which is going to be hard because there's a very stout front seven for the Flyers, and a lot of young players on the field as well as those established guys. This is their first chance, right? The lights are bright here at Cy Donnelly Field. Their opportunity, they need to rise to the occasion.
Absolutely. From Chaminade's perspective, they're going to have to come in here and play a very clean, almost perfect game if they want to walk away victorious. St. Anthony's is very obviously a very talented team. They've got a ton of skill guys all across the board that can be real difference makers, and the best way to neutralize that if you're Chaminade is to control the pace of this game. If Chaminade wins the time of possession battle, let's say 60-40, 70-30, I think they're going to put themselves in a great shot to win inside Donnelly Field here tonight. Now, on the flip side, for St. Anthony's, you said it. If they can establish the run and open up things for Dante Torres in the passing game, this offense is going to be next to impossible to stop. So I think that's going to be a main priority early on in this game for St. Anthony's is can we get something going with Ruda, with Morant on the ground so that we can make sure Chaminade plays us honestly and start opening up some things on the back four.
Last time these two teams played a meaningful league game, you go back to September 15th, 2018, a 42-14 win for St. Anthony's. Greg Campisi, their great quarterback, 8 carries, 147 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. Pat, they played twice in that COVID spring season. They split those games, but obviously there wasn't anything more than bragging rights really on the line then. This is the start of what both hope to be a long run this fall.
This game is the reason a lot of these guys came to Chaminade, came to St. Anthony's. They've been looking forward to this their entire careers, and what a great moment to kick off the 2022 season.
Kicking the ball off will be Tim Tomlinson, the great junior kicker for the Flyers, and we are on their way. And Tomlinson did what he did so often last year. Half of his kicks were into the end zone a year ago, and we take a look at the St. Anthony's offense, and leading the way onto the field is their terrific quarterback, Dante Torres, 6'4", 190. You see the starters here offensively. You've got Torres, Morant, Duff, Longo, Matos, and Miles, a terrific receiving core. Chanchuli and Oliva, the lone returning starters on the offensive line, joined by McGregor, Dowling, and Murphy. 1st and 10 for St. Anthony's from the 20-yard line. There's the handoff to Morant, runs it up the middle, and a short gain as that stout Chaminade defense.
It's a big stop right there. You're going to see Matt Rappa come in there, stick his nose in, number 53. He's a senior on the inside that Chaminade's going to want to get going tonight if they're going to have a chance at pulling away victorious.
We'll get you the starters for the Chaminade defense after this play. That was a gain of 3 on 1st down. Torres with trips left, hands back off to Morant. And again, tackled for a short gain. Looks to be about a gain of 3. Let's take a look at that starting defense for Chaminade. Up front, you've got Aquilina and Ventura. Those are two seniors. Pinto up front as well. You've got the linebacking core anchored by Battaglia with Mann, Rappa, and Miller. And your corners are Marshall and Friel, Toth and Marino at safeties. 3rd and 3. Torres back to pass his first attempt. Intercepted at the 40-yard line by Friel. And Chaminade, the first big play of this game, right over the middle. And it's Brian Friel, the senior. He had 2 picks a year ago. His first of the year comes on the first possession for St. Anthony's.
And right here, you're going to see the St. Anthony's offensive line do a good job, give some good protection, but Chaminade's dropping back into a zone, just sitting down, and Torres never sees Friel coming up underneath. Cornerback steps in front of it, and that's a great play. Chaminade's going to want to win this turnover battle to swing momentum early here and get out in front.
So the Flyers with the ball on the St. Anthony's 33-yard line. That's Matt Diegas. Hands off up the middle. That's Jack Tully with a burst through just shy of the 25-yard line. There's a good look at Diegas. Interesting note here, both starting quarterbacks tonight, Pat, will be going to Fordham.
Absolutely. You got Matt Diegas going for baseball and Torres on the flip side going for football. I think both these guys are going to show off that impressive arm talent that made the Rams really love them.
2nd and 4 now. Diegas, his first pass goes over the middle. It's complete at the 20, and the Flyers will move the chains.
And I really like what Chaminade's doing here early. They got Lucas Catasio coming out, the left guard, and pulling, giving a little bit of a play-action look, freezing the linebackers for St. Anthony's, and giving the quarterback the opportunity to step back and find his receiver.
Gary Correa, number 23, the receiver on that play, the senior going to play lacrosse at Mount St. Mary's. 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line. And some motion offensively as we saw Creo, the Richmond-bound lacrosse standout, but the call goes the other way. Encroachment on the defense, and it certainly seemed when Creo went in motion, that's what set the Friars off moving.
Looked like Davin Foote right there, might have jumped off.
We'll get
Very manageable 1st and 5 starting off for Chaminade.
Sorry, Pat. We'll get you those starters offensively for Chaminade after this next play. As you said, 1st and 5 from the 14. So already off that Friel INT, the Flyers are in the red zone. Diegas hands off again. Look at Tully, breaks some tackles, and he's pulled down inside the 5.
That's a great job by Tully fighting for some extra yards there. You're going to see number 70, Bob Loudit, left tackle, big senior for Chaminade out in front, kind of clearing the way.
So you got Diegas, Tully, Correa, Creo, and Bruno. Jack Francesa as well. You mentioned Loudit. He's at left tackle. Lucas Catasio at left guard. Mason Dietrich at center. Nick Rinaldi and Connor Burmis on the right side. 1st and goal from the 2 for Chaminade. Diegas keeps it, but the defense steps up big. Ian Strong.
Hey, and that's why Coach Shiano up in Piscataway has fallen in love with this guy. He's dynamic all over the field, and there's no getting away there if you're Matt Diegas.
We'll take a look at the play again.
And if you'll see, looks like number 5, Ian Strong, might be the read for Matt Diegas. Unable to get the ball out in time, and that speed is evident on that play there.
2nd and 14, or 2nd and goal from the 14. Diegas back to pass. Good protection. Still looks, rolls out to his right, and he's pushed out of bounds. The initial chase came from Jojo DiCiero, and he is leading the linebacking core this year. We'll take a look at the starters defensively for the Friars. Mackel, Carey, Dunn, and Foote. Up front, you've got Strong, DiCiero, and Goldstein at your linebackers, Platt and Jenkins at corners, and Spina and Platania at safeties.
And this is a big moment early here in this game. If you're St. Anthony's, you want to set the tone. A stop here neutralizes any momentum that Chaminade has. On the flip side, if you're Chaminade, you want to jump out in front and do what you can to silence this crowd as early as you can tonight.
3rd and goal from the 7. Dieguez hands off, run to the left, and again, Ian Strong blows it up, tackles Tully at the 10.
And Tully looks to bounce this here, but you're simply not going to get away with that against the length and the speed of Strong. As you see, a good stiff arm attempt, but Strong so long, so quick at the point of attack.
This will be a 17.
Tomlinson on for the field goal try.
Excuse me, a 27-yard field goal attempt for Tomlinson, who was Mr. Automatic a year ago. His kick is up, sidewinder, and it is good.
And that's such a difference maker for Chaminade there, having an asset like Tomlinson who's reliable. That's a big deal to get come away with points there on that first drive off the turnover.
Yeah, a year ago, you see Flyer Nation excited about the points on the scoreboard. Tomlinson was 35 of 38 for point after attempts, 5 of 8 for field goals with a long of 54. He did that as a sophomore, so now he's got more confidence as a junior. He was a soccer guy who said, let me try out for the football team, and sure enough, Kevin Dolan found the gem in Tim Tomlinson. So off the turnover, the Flyers get points. And Pat, it's interesting here, sort of the mentality of that, right? Flyers were 2 yards from scoring a touchdown, but they do get something, right? So I'd imagine on Kevin Dolan's sideline on the far side, there's got to be something positive, right? Because you do get points, and you did turn over St. Anthony's on their first possession.
Oh, that feels like a great win. You know, the less time that you can spend on defense if you're Chaminade, the better. You know, they get off the field almost immediately with the turnover, the interception thrown by Torres, and you're still able to capitalize on it and get some points out of the drive. You know, they would have loved to punch it in for 7, but the great luxury of having a guy like Tim Tomlinson means that, you know, if you only can take 3, you're most likely going to get it, and they're able to capitalize early here in this game.
Both head coaches, alums at their schools, which is another cool factor here as well. Kevin Dolan in his 7th season as Chaminade head coach, a 1985 graduate of Chaminade. Joe Minucci, a 1999 grad in his 4th year. Return goes out to about the 22. I think that was Jenkins with the return. And now the St. Anthony's offense back out there. And listen, Torres a year ago, 21 touchdowns, 9 INTs, throws a pick. His accuracy is one of the things that makes him such a good quarterback. If you see the numbers from a year ago, as you said, going to Fordham, how he responds after that INT, I'm sure he's going to respond in a positive way, is one of the things that makes him such a great quarterback.
And I think if I'm Joe Minucci, head coach for St. Anthony's, I have a lot of confidence in my guy, Dante Torres, knowing that he's a senior with a lot of great starting experience underneath his belt. He's been in moments like this before, and he's risen to the occasion. So here's an opportunity for him to kind of right the ship for St. Anthony's.
1st and 10 from the 21. He goes long, and that is incomplete. Kenyon Miles was the intended receiver.
And Kenyon Miles, you know, just one of those 2 really, really big guys out on the edge, the other being KJ Duff for St. Anthony's. Going to be a challenge out on, you know, for the corners, being Friel, who had the early interception, and John Marshall. You know, they're not the tallest guys in the world, both 5'10", so they're going to have their hands full. Look to see Torres push those guys throughout the game.
You got to figure the edge when you go 6'2", 6'5" as your edge receivers. That's got to be a big advantage on most games for St. Anthony's. A short run up the middle, and again, the defense stepping up for the Flyers.
And those same 2 guys are going to be calling all night. Rappa and Battaglia both had their nose in that one. And early in this game, we were kind of wondering, you know, is St. Anthony's going to be able to establish a run? So far, the Chaminade front 7 has held up.
And that was Frank Ruda with the rush. It's pretty much a 2-headed monster this year in the running game with Ruda and Moran. They were part of a 3-headed monster a year ago. pressure comes. Torres ducks out of it, runs towards the Chaminade sideline, and they gang tackle the quarterback out of bounds at about the 25-yard line.
And Dante Torres does a great job here of just avoiding Battaglia to not lose any yardage and take the sack here. But good form tackle by Chaminade, all flying to the ball, and able to get off the field, turnover, and then 3 and out. You couldn't really ask for much more if you're Kevin Dolan starting off this game from your defense.
And you would expect the likelihood of some pretty good field position as well. Not as good as that first drive, of course, for Chaminade, but you've got one man deep for the Flyers, and he's at about his own 40-yard line. Snap is important here, though, as well. Flyers come, and they bring it. It's a fair catch, and it is caught at about the 40-yard line. So the Flyers come out from their own 40 on their second possession.
And Matt Diega is going to look to get these guys going here early. They've got the 3-0 lead. Their defense is doing a great job here early on. If they could get some momentum and get a couple of first downs stacked up, that'd be very invaluable for this team early on.
Yeah, Pat, when we last saw Diegas, he was splitting time a year ago with the senior Tom Stuber, and that's always an interesting dynamic, right? How do you balance that? But Diegas, it's all his. The keys are in his hands this year, and he had a fantastic offseason as well.
Wow, and that's a great play right there by Jaden Platt, flying up. It's tough, got to elude the blocker, but he's not timid out there, corner, and that's a great start to that drive for St. Anthony's.
Pat Bruno, number 82, with the short gain, actually the gain of 1 on that reception. Was a guy who waited his turn a year ago. He's always been a good wide receiver, but he had a big offseason physically, emotionally, and he was playing lights out in the preseason. Diegas hands off, and look at the St. Anthony's defense. That was Tully on the rush, but he went nowhere.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive right there by the St. Anthony's defensive line. You're going to see the backside of the Chaminade line pull right there with Rinaldi and Burmese, but they're just not quick enough out of the hole and gets eaten up by an aggressive St. Anthony's defensive line. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if they continue to get penetration rapidly like that, Kevin Dolan might want to look to start to set up the screen game, especially here in a 3rd and long type situation.
Looked like that was Thomas Mackel, the senior end, who made the play. 3rd and 12. Diegas, look out. Here comes Strong from the weak side. That pass comes towards this sideline, but it is incomplete. And we see again Ian Strong, how he's impacting the game. Put the pressure on Diegas. It was an incomplete pass, so the Flyers are forced to punt.
Absolutely. It seemed like last year when we were calling St. Anthony's games, we were calling Bardak. It looks like this year Ian Strong is saying, hey, this is my defense. I'm going to step up. And it seems like almost every play has had number 5 somewhere around the ball for the Friars defense.
I think that's Timmy Longo as the lone man deep here to receive this punt.
Timmy Longo, a guy who sometimes falls under the radar, but is, a very dangerous weapon in his own right.
Picked it up at the 29, short return, and he's pulled out of bounds at about the 47-yard line.
Looked like Eamon Welch made that tackle, the junior, getting his nose in there on special teams.
So in this interesting battle between the high-octane offense of St. Anthony's and those rugged defenders for Chaminade, the Flyers have certainly come to play here early on, and the advantage in this first portion of the first half has been for the visitors.
I think we knew that the Chaminade front 7 was going to be strong. The big question mark going into this game was, how is the secondary going to hold up? And so far, they've generated a turnover. They've played tight out on the edges with these dynamic weapons for St. Anthony's, and have really held down the fort so far in this game. So look for Dante Torres to kind of turn things around on this drive.
1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. Torres gets it to Duff. That's his first reception of the season. You see him cut inside there, Pat, to get those extra yards, gets himself out to the 49-yard line.
And, you know, with KJ Duff's size, a lot of people don't think of him as the kind of guy who's going to get great yards after catch. But I think he showed you right there. He's shifty, makes a cut in the open field, gets a couple yards, and I think that's a great way to start off this drive. Piece by piece, chunk by chunk, let your playmakers make plays.
One thing, too, about Duff is, you know, he's 6'5", but he's put on some muscle as well. He's up to 200 pounds, and he certainly uses that well. It's now Morant out of the backfield. Bobbled it for a moment, gets into the flyer zone, and he also gets the first down. Good catch from the backfield by Darius Morant.
And Dylan, my favorite thing on that play is, you know, we just called his name, KJ Duff, wide receiver number 1 at the top of your screen, comes through the big pancake block, flattens him right there. You gotta love seeing a receiver get physical and open things up for his offense.
1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. First time on this side of the field for St. Anthony's in this first quarter. Plenty of protection. Ball goes looking for Matos, and a great job again defensively by the Flyers.
Brian Friel right there, you know, another great play, had the interception early, and does a great job of getting his head around late, swatting the ball. It's a very talented play. They continue to test number 25, and he's passed these tests with flying colors so far.
Yeah, Friel a year ago, 48 tackles, 2 picks, 3 pass deflections. He's very clearly the guy in that secondary for Chaminade. 2nd and 10, 3:35 left first quarter, 3-0 the lead for Chaminade. Morant again, and not much going there for the St. Anthony's running back. Looked like Battaglia in on that tackle.
Yep, I saw Battaglia and big Luke Ventura, the 6'4", 275-pound senior nose guard for Chaminade. And I'm really impressed with the way that the Chaminade D-line has been winning at the point of attack so far in this game. They're going to look to keep that going to neutralize this running attack from St. Anthony's.
And looks like this could be motion here against St. Anthony's on 3rd and 8 as well.
And you know that drives Coach Minucci crazy, right? You're already in a 3rd and 8 situation, moves you back into 3rd and long, and kind of narrows down your selection of plays.
You mentioned that front. Down. Sorry, Pat. You mentioned the front there for Chaminade. You've got Dean Aquilina at 6'3", 250. Luke Ventura, the mountain of a nose guard at 6'4", 275. And then Pinto at 5'11", 205 on the other end.
And these guys have been a brick wall early in the game. You know, St. Anthony's has struggled to get much of a push going early in this first quarter, and I think that's the reason why you see them with very few rushing yards to start the game. They're going to look to open that up if they're going to build some opportunities for these talented skill positions that they have out on the edge.
3rd and 13 from the 40-yard line. Torres rolls out to his left, finds a receiver. It is, though, short of the first down.
Looked like Jaden Jenkins on that play, the 6'2" senior streaking across, just short of the first down. So a big decision early on here for Joe Minucci. And there appears to be a flag.
Yeah, so we'll see if this one comes back. Certainly the Flyers Nation believes it's coming back, right? And you see the marching of the football as well. It's going to be an offensive hold on St. Anthony's. You mentioned before, just 2 seniors, and they bookend this starting offensive line, right? Chanchuli, who was phenomenal a year ago at left tackle, and Oliva at right guard. Murphy stepped in to a starting role as a senior, but then you've got a couple of sophomores in McGregor and Dowling as well. So there's going to be some growing pains here for the Friars up front. 3rd and 28 from the 45-yard line. Torres under pressure. Looks for options. Ducks out. Still chased. Torres rolls to his left. Now he puts it up in the air. He finds KJ Duff! Touchdown, St. Anthony's! From nothing to 6 points. That's the beauty of Torres to Duff.
Hey, and that right there is why this combination is so dangerous. Chaminade only bringing 3 men on this rush, is able to get a little bit of pressure, but Dante Torres is so elusive with his feet. Felt like that play went on forever, and you can't ask even the best defensive back to try and cover KJ Duff for 10 seconds. They're going to exploit you, and Duff makes the huge play to swing the momentum early on here.
A 55-yard touchdown, and
hold the phone.
Yeah, let's hold that phone. Flag on the play.
And that's a tough thing for an offensive lineman. When your quarterback is back there scrambling, you're going to try and do everything you can to ward off the pressure, but
so
sometimes it results in a hold.
45 is the line of scrimmage.
And that looked like a legal pass by my eye, Dylan. I don't know what you see there.
I thought he was 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage right there, but you don't go to replay in high school football. And
that's a tough blow right there for St. Anthony's, because, you know, this crowd has been waiting to erupt since we got here, since we kicked off at 7 o'clock. They're looking for something to be excited about.
Here it is again. Watch the sticks on the far sideline, Pat. They're right there at the 45. He is behind those sticks. That is not a good call.
And I'm sure Joe Minucci would love to throw out the red flag if this was a college or NFL game, but in high school, you don't have much you can do there.
So a quality punt gets out to the 25-yard line.
You know, if you're St. Anthony's, it really hurts walking away without points right there. You know, it's an incredible play, incredible connection between Torres and Duff, but that should give you a little bit of confidence going into your future drives. Hey, we have the ability to scramble back there, to keep plays alive with our legs if you're Dante Torres, and things are going to start opening up on the back end as, you know, this secondary for Chaminade gets tired out. So that bodes well going into, you know, the final 3 quarters of this game. For St. Anthony's and their offense.
And Pat, as you know well, right, it's about responding to adversity, however it comes, and this is more adversity to deal with. Dieguez back to pass. Slings a great pass downfield. He's got some arm strength, doesn't he? That one, though, incomplete downfield. Looked like it was Creo, the intended target.
And even though they're unable to connect right there, Dieguez does a really good job of stepping up in a clean pocket. A lot of times you see guys at the high school level roll out unnecessarily. No, he's got confidence behind his big center, Mason Dietrich, that the front of that line is going to hold, able to step up and make a good throw just off the big completion.
2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. There is the handoff. And a flag on the play, as it looked like that was Tully again to rush the football. Interesting here as well, right, for Chaminade. When you think of Chaminade football and the running backs, you had the great Mario Fischetti, right, a couple years back, and then Christian Alakwa was phenomenal a year ago. So unfair maybe to compare and contrast with Tully, right, but he brings a little bit like that, like Alakwa does, right, the toughness, but as well as a little bit of that elusiveness.
Absolutely, and you know, if 24/7 Sports was covering lacrosse, he'd probably be a 4 or 5-star lacrosse recruit. Just kind of speaks to the talented dual sport athletes that this Chaminade program has become known for. Guys who can really excel in the fall and the spring.
And another flag on the play. 1:34 left here.
And, you know, I think we're seeing some signs that, hey, this is the first game of the season. These teams are getting a little bit of that rust off. They're making a few mistakes early on here. I think the team that's quicker to adjust and clean up their play is going to have the advantage down the stretch.
And that, as we saw, was one of the keys for Chaminade, right, to make sure you move the chains and don't get hit with some costly penalties. It is 2nd and 20 from the 15. Dieguez. Pump fakes over the middle and nearly picked off.
Looks like Griffin Goldstein right there, and he's going to want that one back tomorrow morning. But Dieguez fortunate to not turn the ball over right there in St. Anthony's territory, or in Chaminade territory. I think so far, if you're Chaminade, you're very happy with the way this game is going. You don't love the 3rd and 20, but they've done a good job of really possessing the ball. They played clean football so far, and the key is don't make a mistake here when you're way behind the chains.
3rd and 20. Diegues forced out, gets moving, kicks it to the outside, and a little push out of bounds there by DiChiero. But it looks like the Flyers will again be forced to punt.
And Jojo DiChiero, just as we expected, flying around. He's got a knack for finding the ball. Coach Minucci likened him to Andrew Bardak, who is one of the most productive defensive players we've maybe ever seen at St. Anthony's. And he's got big shoes to fill, but thus far doing a good job. Number 44 playing his heart out there in the middle for the Friar defense.
Yeah, he literally was the backup to Bardak a year ago, and when, as the punt is off, it's going to take a bounce at about the 41-yard line. Slight roll for the Flyers. But when Minucci spoke about DiChiero, it was funny. A lot of the attributes or the strengths that he mentioned were the same that he mentioned about Bardak, right? So it's, again, as a coach, you don't want to compare to other guys, and Bardak was as special as they come here, but DiChiero certainly bringing it from that same spot.
Another opportunity here for Torres, Ruda, and gang to get things moving a little bit, piece by piece. You'd love to have those big hitting plays that this Friar offense is known for, but I think a little momentum here to finish off the first quarter would be very, very nice for Joe Minucci and his team.
And there's the handoff up the middle, a short gain.
And it looks like Battaglia, we're saying these names over and over tonight. Battaglia, number 49 right there for Chaminade, sticking his nose in, limiting the damage on first down.
Ruda a year ago, 68 carries, 437 yards, and 14 touchdowns. That's not easy to do when you're sharing touches with 2 other running backs. That was a gain of 3. This time he gets the reception out of the backfield, turns it on, it gets the gears going, and gets out towards midfield.
And I love that play call right there for the Friar offense. It's sometimes as simple as quick hitters, get the ball out in space for your playmakers and see what they can do. You saw that burst right there for Ruda, and the really, really nice gain on second down to move the chains.
And he gets it right out to the 50-yard line. Let's see if St. Anthony's gets a playoff here as time is winding down. They will not. So a rivalry renewed. We're 1 quarter in the books, and it is the visiting Flyers with a 3-0 lead over St. Anthony. As you're watching this New York Catholic Football League showdown presented by Maspeth Federal Savings right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step.
Welcome back to Cy Donnelly Field. An incomplete pass there on first down as, again, Torres went to air it out. So many different receivers for the Friars. It's like an embarrassment of riches here, Dylan Butler with Pat Godfrey. And, you could only start 4 at a time. And you've got Miles, Matos, Longo a lot of times, and Duff. But then you got Jenkins as well. Alex Mengi can also be a featured receiver. And don't be surprised if you see Ian Strong line up at some point as well as a receiver.
And what a great problem to have.
Yeah, I think anyone else on the island would love that. Over the middle to Duff. Duff breaks a tackle, but he's pulled down at about the 7-yard line. That was a touchdown saving tackle, but Duff gets into the red zone.
That's an impressive play. You're going to see left guard right here, number 62 with the pancake, clearing the way, giving time to Torres, and Duff does the rest. I know he would have loved to score there, but what a big play right here to open up this second quarter for St. Anthony's.
Looks like that was Nick Marino there with the tackle. First and goal from the 5. Torres, hands off. The burst up the middle, and just shy of the end zone was big Frank Ruda.
Ryan Murphy right there, the right tackle for the Friars, does a good job sealing off the edge, just short of the end zone. They're going to look to punch it in here.
And look at this, Torres under center, pushes, moves the legs. Can he move into the end zone? It's a rugby scrum, and he'll be just shy again.
And that's a great job right there for that front 3 for Chaminade, Aquilina, Ventura, and Pinto holding their ground. Namely Ventura, the nose guard, doesn't give an ounce there on the goal line and able to stop him. Going to look to do it once more right here.
Torres again, spins, touchdown, St. Anthony's. Dante Torres would not be denied. It's a 1-yard touchdown run. And after everything that went wrong in the opening 12 minutes, it's the Friars with the lead.
What makes this offense so dangerous is even when you think you got them down, they're always, liable to make a big play happen just when they need it. So from Torres to Duff to set it up, and Torres bangs it in for the touchdown, giving the Friars what they hope will be right here a 7-3 lead.
Point after attempt is up, and it is good. So 10:32 left here, second quarter. St. Anthony's takes a 7-3 lead. You're watching this Catholic Football League showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people, all people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Off the kickoff after that 1-yard touchdown run. A good return here out to midfield. And that's the way that you respond. You get some good field position out of that. Gavin Creo with that return.
Absolutely. The Richmond lax commit shows you some of that dynamic athleticism, and how big of a response is that for Chaminade to come out, get some great field position, and look to respond from that, impressive drive that the St. Anthony's Friars just put up.
Yeah, that was Torres with the 1-yard run, capping the 5-play, 65-yard drive that took 1:32 to get into the end zone. First and 10 from the 45-yard line for the Flyers of Chaminade. Little stutter step and about a gain of 1, and a late flag in as well. Looked like that was Creo, I believe, with the rush. And we'll see what this late flag is. A lot of times that's a face mask, and it is against St. Anthony's.
What I've really loved so far early for the Chaminade offensive line has been the play of Lucas Catasio. 6'1", 250-pound sophomore coming out playing one of the biggest games of his life, and he's been pulling, it seems like, almost every other play, getting on his man and kicking out, opening up some lanes for Creo, Tully, and the gang for Chaminade.
Yeah, Catasio, one of those Massapequa Mustang dudes, just the sophomore. 1st and 4. There's the handoff, a powerful rush. 1st down for the Flyers as Creo gets out of bounds. But Kevin Dolan said about Catasio, it's pretty funny. He said he was probably doing offensive line drills in his kitchen when he was 3 years old, working on step drills and pass blocking his grandma in the kitchen. That's how long he's been working on his craft.
And it really sounds like Lucas is a man after my own heart. I really love the art form, and hey,
you pass block for your grandma as well.
Yeah, hey, that's how I got ready for the big time. Grandma, thank God, was a good defensive end.
Another bounce to the outside. Another good run for Chaminade as they get out to about the 30-yard line.
And, Coach Dolan has to love right here the calm and cool from his offense. This is a big drive for them to respond, trying to keep up with a high-octane St. Anthony's attack on the other side. And what do? They've just been chipping away on the ground behind some of those big boys up front. Dietrich, Rinaldi, Burmese doing a great job early on in this game, neutralizing the St. Anthony's defensive front.
That was Tully with the 1st down run. And this is exactly what Dolan mentioned in our conversation with him, moving the chains, keeping the ball moving, and keeping those dynamic playmakers for St. Anthony's off the field.
Absolutely. Even a play like that might not jump off the stat sheet, a 3-yard run up the middle, but you know what it does? It keeps your offense moving in the right direction, gives you 2nd and 3rd and manageables. And, that's really what they're going to want to create for Matt Dieguez to ensure success throughout, the duration of this game.
2nd and 7 from the 27. Another handoff cut inside. Look at that hit. That was impressive.
That was a big hit. Looks like Dante Verdaro right there, the junior, 6'2", 185 linebacker, got up there and made the stick. You could hear that one from up here, Dylan.
Verdaro's future, like a lot of others, a lot of dual sport athletes, is in lacrosse, but his present is as a hard-hitting linebacker. A no gain there on 2nd down. So 3rd and 7. Tully, the lone back. And we're going to have a timeout for St. Anthony's. So Joe Minucci will talk things over. In our conversation with Minucci, and again, he played football for St. Anthony's before, of course, coaching them as well. Asked him about his favorite moment in this rivalry, right? Because he had to have one, and he said that his was actually when he was playing, when he was a junior. It was his junior season. They played Chaminade in the semifinals of the AAA championship, and he said they scored a touchdown late. They went to Richie Reichert on the sideline, begging the head coach to go for 2. Coach said, "You've got it." And they ran the touchdown, or the conversion, the 2-point conversion, his way. It was Mike Morato, the head coach, by the way, of Eastport South Manor, scoring the winning conversion after quarterback Paul Washington scored on that 8-yard option run.
And for anybody that knows Coach Minucci, he's a monster of a man. It's no secret that he played in the NFL and had a cup of coffee with a few different teams. And it's easy to see why Coach Reichert would have been confident running it behind him back in the day. But just goes to show that's over 20 years ago. Coach Minucci's talking about it, but when you're talking to him, it seems like it was just yesterday. These rivalry games, they stick with you for life, and these guys will be telling their kids about what plays out tonight someday.
3rd and 7 off the timeout from the 27-yard line. Dieguez, look out, the pressure comes, and the sack. Strong was in there, but as well as the defensive end, Thomas Mackel.
Hey, and that's a great job right there. Mackel grabs him first, and Strong, being the wily vet he is, comes in, looks for the strip. Diegues does a good job of just getting down to the ground, but not much you can do there if you're Matt Diegues with two guys like that bearing down on you right out of your play action.
And that comes off the timeout as well, the defensive timeout, right? So if you're Minucci, you certainly love what you saw there. This is an opportunity now for the Flyers with Tomlinson punting the football to angle something here and force St. Anthony's into going the length of the field. There's the punt. It's a high one. Backing up. Oh, it takes a fantastic bounce for the Flyers, didn't it?
Wow.
Down at about the 5 there.
You know, Coach Dolan had told us earlier that, Tim spent his entire offseason making punting a true priority, and it pays dividends right there, pinning him down at the 4-yard line. Couldn't ask for any better out of your special teams.
Yeah, a year ago it was Matt Diegues, again, a guy who split time at the quarterback position, who was then doing the punting as well. But Kevin Dolan's like, look, I have a QB1. I'm not sharing it, so you are not punting the football this year. Tomlinson's got to figure out how to do it. And he certainly did it really well there, pinning St. Anthony's inside their own 3.
Hey, well, when you have the leg to hit 54-yard field goals, I guess that's some good clay to build a punter from as well.
See the numbers for Dante Torres early on, 4 of 7 for 77 yards. He had that rushing touchdown, and he also threw that one interception. From his own end zone is Torres. He's got Morant off to his hip. There's the handoff. Morant gets it inside.
And Battaglia flies up, fills the hole. I'm impressed by the show of faith right there by Coach Minucci. There's a high-pressure situation pinned into your own end zone, and he runs behind the 2 sophomores, being McGregor and Dowling. They've tried their best. They're fighting their tails off in there, but not much you can do about a talented backer like Battaglia flying up, making a quick read.
Just the gain of 1. 2nd and 9 from the Friars 4. Morant again tries to get it out to the right side, and it is hard to run on this Chaminade defense, that is for sure.
Yeah, a couple guys in there. Looked like Dean Aquilina might have had his nose in there, but yeah, this has been a sturdy front. I mean, Matt Rappa has had his nose in that play. We've been calling his name a lot tonight. This is an experienced front 7. They got 6 out of 7 seniors for Chaminade, and it's really shown. St. Anthony's has struggled to establish a run to this point.
No gain. Big play here. 3rd and 7 from the 6-yard line. Empty backfield for Torres. Rolls out, looking for options, just tries to dump one over. It is a completed pass to Mengi.
And that's an impressive play, just kind of speaks to the capabilities of your quarterback Torres right there. He has the talent to extend plays, and he's able to find his receiver about 6-7 seconds into the play. Mengi with a great job toe tapping right by the sideline.
A big move of the chains there for St. Anthony's. You don't want to have to punt from your own end zone. That is for sure. Fresh set of downs now as Morant options out of the backfield, catches the football, runs towards the Chaminade sideline, gets out to just shy of the 25-yard line.
And again, you have Rappa on that tackle. But, I think you're starting to see St. Anthony's find their rhythm a little bit. They're doing a lot of these quick-hitting plays out to the edges, trying to play in space against this Flyer defense. And thus far, they've had some limited success.
We go the other way this time to Morant. Duff the blocker, and Morant gets another first down. And you mentioned it before, that pancake, right, by KJ. That's what you love to see from a star receiver. Watch number 1 here on the outside, providing the block for Morant to get the first down.
Absolutely. Really good job peeling back. Big hit by your 6'5 receiver. And that's what you need. You need 100% buy-in from all 11 men in order to keep moving the chains.
And now Ruda gets out to midfield, and they continue to move the chains. Frank Ruda, tough downhill runner, physical. He has a knack for the end zone, as we saw a year ago with those 14 touchdowns. And now you get a little bit of rhythm, it feels like, for the first time here today, Pat.
Absolutely. They're moving quick. You see them spit it out to Ruda again. But a nice form tackle out on the edge by number 51, Seamus Miller, the junior for Chaminade. It's a nice form tackle, and that was very needed right there for Chaminade to stunt a little bit of that momentum. You see St. Anthony's picking up the pace and had them on their heels, so chance to catch your breath here going to second down.
Seamus, the junior. Brother Michael was on the varsity a year ago. And there's Battaglia in on the tackle. He just finds a way, man. I can't say enough about Battaglia. 6 foot 220, 92 tackles a year ago. Another one of those Massapequa Mustang guys who the football is just in his blood.
Hey, and I think a lot of this performance you've seen so far from the Chaminade defense is due to those two guys, Battaglia and Rappa on the inside, leading the way in a hostile environment and shutting down the run.
3rd and 7. Ruda was in motion. The pass over the middle to Duff. First down and more. Duff breaks a tackle, kicks it to the outside. K.J. Duff, touchdown St. Anthony's.
We mentioned it earlier, yards after the catch. This guy's super underrated. He breaks a couple of tackles and shows that burst of closing speed to find the end zone. And you best believe you remember that big play earlier on where he fell just a couple yards short. Here, nobody's stopping him. And KJ Duff just gives you another example of why he's probably the biggest wide receiver recruit to come through Long Island in a very long time.
He's already got those Power 5 offers, does KJ Duff.
Last year, he might have been a well-kept secret early on a little bit. This year, no such thing. Everybody knows KJ Duff, and you still can't stop him.
Extra point is good, and St. Anthony's has extended their lead 14-3 with 3:15 left in this first half. You're watching this Catholic Football League showdown, presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Welcome back to Cy Donnelly Field on the campus of St. Anthony's High School. The Friars, after trailing 3-0, have scored 14 straight points. A Dante Torres 1-yard run and that great catch and the yards after catch, the yak by KJ Duff, 53 yards to the house, and the Friars lead it 14-3.
Hey, just goes to show when you're playing against an explosive offense like St. Anthony's, you can hold them back, you can contain them for a little bit, but, you know, they're going to get there. So I think early on in this game, this becomes a huge drive for Kevin Dolan's offense. Matt Dieguez, the senior quarterback up front, to try and turn things around a little bit, regain some momentum, as you see the great kick return to start off the drive.
Yeah, they'll get really good field position as well, as Jack Francesa had the return. There you see the touchdown by Duff, 53 yards, capped a 9-play, 97-yard for 407 was that drive.
And, you know, what a crazy turn of events right there. Looks like Torres down in his own end zone might get sacked. Instead, completes the big play to Meggie, keeps the drive going, a little bit of momentum, and then 4 plays later, you got KJ Duff streaking down the sideline for the long touchdown.
So as you said, big possession here. You got 2 running backs now. It's handing off to Creo. And now the St. Anthony's defense steps up and doesn't allow Creo much room to move.
And, you know, Jaden Platt might be a corner, but he does not come from that primetime school of business decisions. The 6'1", 180 senior steps up, throws a shoulder in there, makes a big stop to start off this drive.
I want to invite everybody, too, to stick around at halftime. We've got a great food review. It's kind of become our famous thing, right? 2nd and 1.
Make that 2nd and 13.
Back to pass. Diegues, look out. And again, the St. Anthony's defense swarms. And it looks like it's the man-child in there, right? Preston Carey.
Preston Carey making his presence known early on, and Diegues just seems like he's lost his rhythm a little bit. He's got a lot of rush in his face these last couple drives, maybe steps up a little bit earlier than he had to. But that St. Anthony's defensive line starting to get back there and pressure the senior quarterback.
Big number 99, just a freshman at 6'5", 270. How about LSU, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Rutgers, Georgia already have offered 3rd and 11. Diegues throws it back over the middle. Ooh, in and out of the hands and nearly intercepted as well.
And that's a dangerous play. I'm sure when Diegues walks over to the sideline, his coach is going to have a quick word from him. But cardinal rule as a quarterback, do not throw across your body into the middle of the field. Fortunate that one wasn't turned over.
Jaden Platt was all over that one after it went in and out of the hands. And a 3-and-out. You mentioned how important this possession was, and that's the last thing you want if you're Kevin Dolan. With the momentum that St. Anthony's had going for them offensively, you don't want to give them the ball back right away.
All of a sudden, for this Flyer defense, this last drive of the half, it becomes really just crucial to get a stop. They need to make sure that they're only down 11 going into halftime, getting the ball so they can keep this a tight one and have a shot at pulling it out in the second half.
Good punt by Tomlinson, and it's downed at about the 12-yard line. We mentioned the food review and DJ's Clam Shack, 134 New York Avenue, Huntington, New York. We're pumped for this, man. I think you're more pumped for the the review of DJ's Clam Shack than maybe you are for this first half.
Well, Dylan, I'm kind of feeling like we're moving up in the world because all of a sudden, I've always loved the food reviews, and we've gotten some incredible pizza and wings and that type of stuff up here before. But, lobster, I mean, we're getting the NBC treatment right now. I feel like Al Michaels and John Madden, and thank you to DJs for making that all possible.
Well, listen, Pat, when you've got the best rivalry on Long Island, right, you got to start off somewhere. You got to start off strong, right, with the game as well as the review. There you see the numbers for Duff. 3 receptions for 103 yards and that touchdown, that 53-yard score that has given St. Anthony's a 14-3 lead.
And as we said earlier, Duff creates just such a matchup problem at the high school level with his 6'5" height, with his stellar speed. He's just a combo that's really difficult to stop. Especially when you're a 5'10" corner, they're putting up their best fight over on this Chaminade side. But I'd look to see if they get some help over the top going forward in this game a little bit more, because a one-on-one matchup against Duff is not fair to put on any high school kid.
1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. Empty backfield for the Friars. Torres rolls it out to his right. There's room to move, slides just past the 20-yard line. And I think that's a little bit of that maturity that we've seen from Dante, right? A year ago, maybe he forces something. This time he recognized, right? You saw him check his reads and then slides out for a good gain.
One of the challenges here for Chaminade is a lot of these plays are only rushing 3 men, trying to drop 8 and confuse Torres, but he's going to take whatever he's given, and right there picks up the nice 8-yard gain.
He finds Duff, who's wrapped up, but it's still good enough for a St. Anthony's first down.
KJ Duff actually a little shaken up on that play, looks like, so let's hope that he's back in there soon for this Friar offense.
And the Friars will call a timeout, and we'll take it with them. Actually, I want to remind the folks about Varsity Media Pass. We've got top 10 plays, highlights, podcasts, interviews, and more. It's available, you see there, iOS, Android as well. And Pat, you and I and Ben Turchin had a great podcast, good conversation certainly among us, and we talked a lot about the Catholic Football League, which we will do throughout the season, as well as Long Island. We mentioned who would be our fantasy football pick on the island as well. But, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we went into that podcast thinking, maybe 30 minutes. We could push to 40. I think they had to cut us off at around an hour and 15 minutes because, looking at the high school football landscape this year, there's just so much to be excited about, so much to talk about, and I couldn't be more pumped to be doing it with you all year long.
1st and 10 from the 26-yard line. Torres ducks out of pressure. He's chased. Still kicks it to the outside. Great athleticism by Torres, and he gets out of bounds. Inside. Gets out to about the 37.
And, one thing that's just so challenging is, you're not going to put a spy on Dante Torres and feel confident with any one man being able to tackle him in the open field. He's going to be able to make that first man miss. So all of a sudden you have to start making decisions as that Chaminade defense as to, are we going to drop 8 and confuse him and let him beat us piece by piece? Or are we going to, stretch our guys thin on the outside and make them try and cover one-on-one against these talented receivers of St. Anthony's?
Torres, gain of about 5. They go to the outside. I think that was Jenkins on that far sideline. 46 seconds left in this first half. Trips now left. Second down and 5 from the 42. Torres over the middle, and that's complete. We mentioned his name before, and maybe he gets lost a little bit in Miles and Duff, right? But Timmy Longo, man, he just brings it every time he's out there.
Timmy Longo, he's, really one of those guys who flies a little bit under the radar, but is, one of the core pieces of this St. Anthony's team.
And my mistake, I apologize, that's Alex Mengi. I think 84 was his number a year ago. Longo wearing 12 this year, but that was Mengi over the middle. The junior, 6'4", 200. Had a limited run last year with Varsity as a sophomore, but another big physical target. We'll take another break here as there's an injury on the field. 39 seconds left here, first half. St. Anthony's with a 14-3 lead. You're watching this Catholic Football League showdown presented by Maspeth Federal Savings and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
High school football fans, for exclusive content of the 2022 season, head to the Varsity Media Pass app. Weekly podcasts, top 10 plays of the week, game highlights, and player interviews. All the content you need is right here on the Varsity Media Pass app, available on iOS and Android. To order, visit varsitymediapass.com.
So welcome back to Cy Donnelly Field. Good to see Alex Mengi walking off, smile on his face after that big hit, and a first down reception as well for Mengi.
I do just want to shout out what an electric atmosphere we have here tonight at Cy Donnelly Field. You can see the Chaminade faithful to my left right now, and they've been going crazy all night long. And then it's a whiteout for the St. Anthony students. They've been bringing the energy all night. A great atmosphere.
Torres, another nice decision.
Looks like Jaden Jenkins, the senior right there. And you're seeing a lot of the experience play out for this St. Anthony's offense right in front of us. A lot of guys who have played in big scenarios before know how to manage, for instance, a 2-minute drill. And these guys have been getting out of bounds, finding the sticks, doing everything they need to do to nurse that clock and give themselves a shot to score to finish off the first half.
Torres over the middle. Great knockdown there by Seamus Miller over the middle as the intended target was Duff.
Seamus' older brother was a receiver on the team last year. He's now up at Trinity. And, Miller's done a really good job so far. He's a junior. He's the youngest guy on that front 7 for Chaminade. And, making a big play in the passing game at a crucial time here at the end of this first half.
Yeah, he gets plenty of time now. He'll be that heir apparent, though, to Battaglia when Charlie graduates this May. 3rd and 4 from the 37-yard line. Torres rolls to his left, goes to the end zone, in and out of the hands of Kenyon Miles.
And that's a play that Kenyon Miles makes 9 times out of 10. one that's going to certainly hurt for them. But, impressive job right there by Torres, rolling out to his left side, throwing across his body and putting it on the money, just unable to finish it right there for Miles with what would have been a surefire touchdown.
And Miles a year ago, 26 receptions for just over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. As you said, you go his way again, he's making that catch.
He's a legit D1 receiver, one of the more reliable guys in this offense. So, a little bit of nerves right down there by the Chaminade student section. They're loud, they're crazy, and maybe playing a factor here.
So 4th and 4. Torres spins, can't break free. The first tackle looked like was Claudio Pinto, 73. And then his boys came as well as they get the turnover.
And, you'll see it's a great job by Pinto with the swim move to get pressure, the senior up in the face of Torres, and it's been so hard for this Flyer defense to finish. Torres is elusive, he's quick, but does a great job there in a key moment on 4th down to turn over the ball on downs and limit the damage here in this first half, give Chaminade a fighting chance going into the second.
Yeah, they got 1st and 10 from their own 38-yard line, 8.5 seconds left. So the question here, Pat, is do you go Hail Mary a little bit or you just take a knee? And
I like this move right here by Coach Dolan. 8 seconds left. Let's get into the half, get into the locker room, figure out what's going on out here, and put forth a game plan so that we can seize the opportunity throughout these last 2 quarters.
Well, Pat Godfrey was a great start for Chaminade. You get the interception on the first possession. You kick a field goal. You take the lead here on the road, but since then, it's been all St. Anthony's as the Friars respond with 2 touchdowns from 2 of their key guys. Dante Torres first running for one, and then finding KJ Duff for a 53-yard TD. And at the half, it is St. Anthony's with a 14-3 lead. We'll take a quick break. This Catholic Football League showdown is presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
High school football fans, for exclusive content of the 2022 season, head to the Varsity Media Pass app. Weekly podcasts, top 10 plays of the week, game highlights, and player interviews. All the content you need is right here on the Varsity Media Pass app, available on iOS and Android. To order, visit varsitymediapass.com.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts.
That's complete. First down and more. Touchdown, Oceanside.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Cy Donnelly Field. It is 14-3. St. Anthony's with the lead over Chaminade. We take you inside our booth now for Pat Godfrey's favorite segment that we have every weekend. It is our food review. And no better, I think, to start off than with DJ's Clam Shack, located at 134 New York Avenue in Huntington. Listen, a little bit of the background, right? It started two restaurateurs in Key West, 2009. Look, they just wanted to get some really good food, a chill atmosphere, right? So they took that chill atmosphere from Key West, brought it up here to Huntington. Great location. You could eat indoors, eat outdoors. You could sit, get some cool drinks on the water, and obviously eat some incredible food.
Absolutely. You know, we're not all going to get the chance to score touchdowns at Cy Donnelly Field on Friday nights, but you know what? When you go to DJ's, you can be a baller, because you know what? I feel like I'm a normal guy. Normally pizza would do, but you come in here with lobster rolls. I feel like, you know, so grateful for this opportunity to eat some DJ's and share a little bit of their fantastic culinary delights with you here tonight.
Yeah, Pat's showing you the lobster roll. Over here we have just a smorgasbord here. We've got the lobster empanada, conch fritters. They're known for that as well. Coconut shrimp, fried shrimp, clam strips, onion rings, and of course the lobster roll. So Pat, let's do the honors, my friend.
All right, I've been waiting all night for this, so.
All right. I like the bite that he takes too. He's a former offensive lineman. He's not taking that little bit of a nibble.
Wow. You know, there's certain moments in life that you really want to cherish. And every time you can stop into DJ's Clam Shack, it's going to be one of those moments. Because when I tell you that that bite was maybe the best thing that's happened to me in a few weeks, that's really the truth. It is unbelievable. What are your thoughts?
A piece of heaven right here in the press box. Incredible stuff. I mean, like, perfection.
I think the only challenge when you go to DJ's is trying to figure out where to start on the menu. You know, they have so many different options. Like you see an array of exquisite fried foods alongside these lobster rolls. I just hope that halftime goes on long enough for me to fill my face with as much DJ's as humanly possible.
Yeah, kick line. Let's start off again. Incredible stuff here. And of course, listen, we brought the crew from DJ's as well. I'll tell you right now, I want that hat. How do we get Pat? How do we get that hat?
I don't know. I mean, hey, if that hat comes with some lobster rolls, then give me 10 of them. Because
I might eat the actual hat as well.
Exactly. I'm pretty hungry right now, but hey, they've really lived up to expectations. You know, coming in, we heard that this might be the best food we've ever brought up in the booth, and I gotta say, this lobster off the first bite, I'm amazed that you guys didn't bring it down from Maine today, because that's what it tastes like. Pretty amazing.
So awesome stuff here. Again, DJ's Clam Shack, 134 New York Avenue in Huntington. Just a perfect place for some a casual spot to hang out.
Dylan,
and some great food.
I know security walking in front of the camera. Can you blame him? He followed.
They want the
nose.
lobster roll.
He followed his nose, but he's not getting close to it because I'm an O-lineman and I know how to protect my food. Okay?
That's DJ's Clam Shack again, 134 New York Avenue in Huntington. Great stuff. We will take a break so we can break and get some food as well. You're watching this New York Catholic Football League showdown right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
High school football fans, for exclusive content of the 2022 season, head to the Varsity Media Pass app. Weekly podcast, top 10 plays of the week, game highlights, and player interviews. All the content you need is right here on the Varsity Media Pass app. Available on iOS and Android. To order, visit varsitymediapass.com.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts.
That's complete. First down and more. Touchdown, Oceanside.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
If you're an event organizer looking for a media company to cover live streaming, action photography, and game video for your event, look no further. Varsity Media travels throughout the Northeast covering weekend tournaments, showcases, and championships. Contact us today to learn about our services and packages at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
For the best action shots and the best angles, look no further than Varsity Media. Our experienced photographers capture your athletes' best moments right from field level. Plus, we offer great keepsakes like bobbleheads, posters, plaques, and prints. For more information about Varsity Media's photography services, contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here.
We welcome you back to Cy Donnelly Field on the campus of St. Anthony's High School. Pat Godfrey with me, Dylan Butler here as well. Second half just about to start. Good response by St. Anthony's, certainly, right? You have an INT in your first possession of the year. You hold Chaminade from scoring a touchdown. They go for 3. But then since that, your offense started to click, especially in the second half, second quarter.
Right now at Cy Donnelly Field, they're bumping The Who, some Baba O'Reilly. And I think right now, if you're Kevin Dolan, you're asking, who is it going to be who steps up and makes a play and turns the momentum a little bit early in the second half for my Flyers team? Try and get creative when I can. But I think Dieguez has done a relatively good job of managing some pressure in his face. I think it really just, comes down to, can they get the ball out on the edges? Can somebody step up and make a big play, to kind of right the ship a little bit and bring this back to a one-score game for Chaminade. This first drive is going to be really key in seeing what they can do in the second half.
This is game number 1 for us on the broadcast season, and we've got some other great games coming up for you as well here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We stay in the 6-3-1 next weekend. Longwood, Ward, Melville, 2 of Suffolk 1's very best battling out at Ward Melville, and then a Suffolk 2 showdown. They are just, it's the SEC of Suffolk County. It's Hills East at Northport. Go to Nassau then for a little Nassau Far action. North Shore, Seaford, and then 2 traditional powerhouses in Nassau Conference 1. It's Russ Sellen's Freeport Red Devils and Kevin Shipos' Chiefs of Massapequa. You don't want to miss that one. All those games right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
And we were talking about this on our podcast earlier this week, found via the Varsity Media Pass. But, this year, there's a very exciting landscape on the public front as well. So we kind of get carried away talking about our Catholic League, and we love the competition that we see here each and every week. But, don't sleep on the Nassau and Suffolk County public schools, because they got studs in their own right across the board.
Yeah, Massapequa, the defending Long Island champion. Freeport, a team that's been very young, but they seem to be, this could be their year. Goldstein kicks off to start this second half. It is fielded at the 5-yard line. Good return. Bouncing it to the outside now is Gavin Creo, and he will be pulled down just past the 35-yard line.
And every time Gavin Creo touches the ball, you see why he's such a big-time lacrosse commit. I mean, the guy's fast, he's shifty, and he's done a really good job on the special teams front as well as on the offensive side so far for the Flyers. They're going to look to get him involved and see if maybe he can be that game breaker, make a couple big plays, and try and pull this Chaminade team back into this.
I want to again thank the folks at DJ's Clam Shack for just an incredible array of fantastic food. We're not done with it quite yet. I have dibs, by the way, in the lobster empanada for postgame. Just putting it out there for right now. Handoff left, and a short gain for the Flyers.
Yeah, and that's a really great job right there by number 78 for St. Anthony's. Flying in, making the play.
Tyler Dunn.
Looks like Tyler Dunn, he's a senior, 6'1", 235. His first year over on the defensive side of the ball, but makes a really good play right there on first down.
Second and 9. Dieguez gets a little bit mixed up, and what a great burst up past the sticks. That looked like that might have been a play that was broken up, and instead it's a first down run as Gary Correa, who we will see a lot of in that running back rotation, gets the first down for the Flyers.
And that's a big play right there. You come out, you got some good field position to start off the second half, and, you move the chains. It's got to just be about moving the chains one bite at a time for this Flyer offense.
One bite at a time after the food review. I like what you did there.
You can tell where my mind is.
First and 10 out towards midfield. You got 2 in the backfield. This time the handoff goes left. We've got a flag, though, so this one will come back, as it was a hold on the offense.
Looking at the offensive line play up front on that play for Chaminade, it looked like there might have been a little bit of a miscommunication. A couple guys on the left side doing the same thing, and wind up making the mistake, setting themselves back a little bit. Exactly what Coach Dolan wasn't looking for to start off the second half. They got to play a clean game if they're hoping to scrape their way back against this talented Friar team.
Yeah, Dolan thought, and the same is true of Minucci, that they had a great camp, right? And they had not that you count these games as scores, right, but a really successful scrimmage against Farmingdale. It's 1st and 25 now. Dieguez flushed out of the pocket, goes up the middle, and he runs in to
big number 88, press and carry. There's a reason he's a freshman and has the Power 5 offers that he does. We've heard his name called a few times here tonight and really making his presence known. On the flip side, watching the behavior of the St. Anthony's defensive line, they're doing a good job, but they're getting aggressive and getting upfield quickly. In order to neutralize that, I'd look for a draw or perhaps a screen from the Chaminade offense to try and taper them a little bit, especially being behind the chains early in this drive.
2nd and 20 for the Flyers. Dieguez, empty backfield. Pressure's coming. Mackel coming towards him. He goes long, and that is incomplete. Some terrific defending there by number 7, Jaden Platt.
it looks like Chaminade's going to continue to try and press the ball downfield. Unfortunately, you're going up against a lot of studs on the back end of this St. Anthony's defense, not a lot of soft spots. And attacking number 7, the big senior Jaden Platt, is most likely not going to be a recipe for success tonight.
3rd and 20 from the 38-yard line. Big play here for Chaminade. You have trips right, and the pressure is going to come at Villegas. Back to pass. Flushed out, good protection, and throws just shy of his intended target. That was number 23, Gary Correa.
And, we talked about the importance of Chaminade playing mistake-free football tonight. We see them early on in the drive start to make some incremental progress, move the chains, and then just one mistake puts you behind the chains. And this isn't an offense that's necessarily designed to get plays in huge chunks. They want to move continually forward, and it's very difficult for Matt Diegas and company to get in a rhythm with the penalties that they faced right there.
Low snap. Pressure doesn't come, though, which allows Tomlinson to get off a good punt. It is attacked there at about the 30-yard line. And a short return. I think that might have been Strong there.
And, good gang tackle right there for the Chaminade coverage unit. About 4 guys to bring down Ian Strong. And as it should be, right? The Rutgers commit is a dangerous guy back there. You certainly don't want to see the ball in his hands if you're Kevin Dolan.
1st and 10 from the 36-yard line.
And this is the spot right now where St. Anthony's wants to be. They've been able to get something going on the run the last few drives, opening up the passing game, and they'll continue that into the second half.
Faked handoff over the middle for Duff, and he's got some great wingspan, but not that great there as he was unable to corral that first down pass.
Even though they don't connect there, I think you see the impact of St. Anthony's success on the ground the last couple of drives right there, because linebackers flying up against the play action, open things up over the middle. Look for Coach Minucci to dial up that play again at some point in this quarter.
See, Torres' number is 13 for 18 for 185 and 2 touchdowns. 1 on the ground and 1 in the air.
Usual suspects right there. Seamus Miller, Charlie Battaglia in on that tackle.
That was Miles with the reception for the Friars.
And Kenyon Miles has had somewhat of a quiet night so far. I'd look for him to break out at some point in this second half because, with the type of talent that he has, you can only hope to contain him for so long.
3rd and 3. Morant in the backfield. Short pass, and there is Miles trying to cut inside, but it looks like he is just short. Let's see with the placement of this football.
Going to depend on the spot, and he got it.
And that was the extra effort you were mentioning a moment ago by Miles. He's a guy who ran winter track, so he got a little bit faster, and he also hit the weight room hard as well, did Miles, 6'2", 175.
And St. Anthony's found that simple recipe. Get the ball out there quick in space to your skill guys and see what they can do. It's been working well for them over the past few drives.
This time it's the handoff to Morant, gets to about the 47 or 48.
Christian Pinto for Chaminade, their defensive end, number 73. He might not be the biggest guy at only about 205 pounds, but boy, has he been active. He's made a lot of plays tonight and in there again.
He doesn't have the size, right, of Aquilina or Ventura. But he's also a wrestler, as there's an offensive penalty against the Friars, so that'll back them up. But 73, you see there, Pinto. It's not uncommon on Long Island, right, to have those wrestlers up front, but it's a little bit uncommon for this Chaminade team. He's one of the few wrestlers there, but obviously the technique lends itself to being a defensive lineman.
You can tell he plays with leverage and his motor doesn't stop. It's really paid dividends for him tonight.
And there is Duff. You want to get this guy into space. KJ Duff cuts inside. Oh, my goodness. Duff, touchdown, St. Anthony's.
And boy, he just makes it look too easy sometimes. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. This guy is talented after the catch, dangerous with the ball in his hands. And, that looks like Madden on rookie mode right there for Duff on the long touchdown.
How about Nick Matos, too, up the field, right? He doesn't want to get the block from the back, right? So he's like, I'm going to lean off a little bit and make sure that KJ is able to run free.
And that's one thing Coach Minucci shouted out about his receiving core and Matos especially is, those guys want to block. We've seen Duff blocking, and, his guys return the favor there on the long touchdown.
PAT is good, and with 7:11 left in this third quarter, it is St. Anthony's with a 21-3 lead over Chaminade. You're watching this New York Catholic Football League showdown presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts.
That's complete. First down and more. Touchdown, Oceanside.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video.
Welcome back to Cy Donnelly Field after that KJ Duff touchdown. The Flyers are looking for a response. It is their return to the AAA this year, the Flyers. They've got quite a history in the AAA, and they've got an incredible schedule in front of them as well. And the good thing, I think, if you're Chaminade, that guy, you don't have to worry about him the rest of this regular season at least. Look at the numbers there for KJ Duff. 5 receptions, 160 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And right behind him, not a seat to be had.
And
Dylan,
this game brought to us in part by Catholic Health, and you're not going to find a healthier offensive performance than what KJ Duff has been able to do so far tonight.
He has brought it, no doubt. 1st and 10. Here is Tully, wrapped up, loses the football. It goes into one of the big man's hands up front.
And that was Jojo DeCero, the key middle linebacker on the inside, number 44 for St. Anthony's, coming forward and making the big play, forcing the fumble. Fortunate for Chaminade that they're able to come up with that one.
Let's take a look quickly at the St. Anthony's upcoming schedule. You see September 17th. That's St. Joe's from Jersey out at Rutgers, part of the battle for the bridge. That game on MSG. They go to Lions Den then to take on Monsignor Farrell. They're at Iona. They're at Hayes. And they close out home for Fordham Prep, Christ the King, and they finish the regular season at Stepinac. A murderer's row certainly here in the Catholic Football League. Second down rush and a positive one there for the Flyers as Jack Tully gets the first down.
And we've seen Chaminade have success in little bits and pieces here throughout this game. It just has seemed really difficult for them to piece together plays one over the other. And I think, just building upon that, moving the chains early in the drive, you keep moving with positive momentum, and don't try to eat the elephant any quicker than you can. You got to do it one bite at a time.
Tully runs toward the St. Anthony's sideline, and he's met there by number 14, Glenn Platania, a guy who is a Quinnipiac lacrosse commit, didn't play football a year ago, but a guy we saw a great Division I lacrosse player in that same position a year ago, and Michael Leo, right? Now he's up at Syracuse playing lacrosse there, and Platania following Leo's example.
And when you're looking at these programs, they're both probably top 5 national programs in any given year on the lacrosse side of things. But a lot of those athletes, their true love and their true passion comes in the fall.
Oh, Diegues fumbles that handoff, and looks like the Flyers, though, have recovered.
And absolutely, not what you want to see here. We stress the importance of playing clean football. It's been a little bit of a dirty second half so far for the Flyers offense. They're going to need to clean that up if they want to gain some positive momentum and have hope of clawing back into this thing.
3rd and 8 for Chaminade, and at this point you just want to move the chains, keep possession. You know that St. Anthony's is starting to get into a really good rhythm offensively. Diegues back to pass. Goes over the middle. There's a flag on the play, and that was an incomplete pass. It was thrown right at the intended receiver, and he, being Gary Correa, is still down.
That's a really good job there by the Chaminade offensive line, giving a nice clean pocket, facing a 5-man blitz coming from St. Anthony's. Diegues steps up and delivers a nice strike over the middle of the field. Unfortunately, unable to bring it down.
Let's take a look while we have an opportunity here with the injury on the field at the Chaminade schedule. You see their upcoming schedule there. You've got Paramus Catholic, so they also are part of that, right? You got Stepanak, Cardinal Hayes, you got them in Mineola. You get Stepanak in Mineola as well as Fordham Prep. Christ the King, Holy Trinity at Holy Trinity. That should be a fantastic and fun game as well.
And, you want to talk about a murderer's row. Going to Paramus Catholic next week, not an easy task. You guys might remember Jabril Peppers, the former Giants safety and Michigan Wolverines standout, was a top player in the entire country at Paramus Catholic a few years back. They've got a fantastic program, and then moving right into AAA and AA1 action for the Flyers, even finishing up the season against Holy Trinity.
Well, actually, no, that's their they have one more game in the schedule, which, oh, by the way, you go up to New Rochelle and you finish up against Iona Prep, the defending state champions.
So it gets worse.
But that's what you wanted, right? And that was part of the plan for Chaminade to get in to the AAA, right? And you want to play the best. They were hoping they would be there a year ago. And again, in the way that the schedule was set up a year ago, as a AA1 team, you could make the AAA playoffs. A loss, as you see Correa walking off a little gingerly, a loss to Kellenberg at home ended up dropping them into AA1. You don't have that situation now. If you're a AAA program, you're playing AAA playoffs, and the same with AA1 and 2. So, but this is exactly what Chaminade wanted. They wanted to get back in to the AAA.
We've seen it in years past. AAA football in New York is tantamount to the SEC because nobody's going through unscathed. There's going to be carnage down the road throughout the schedule for a lot of different teams, and Chaminade, even if this game isn't going right for them right now, it's an opportunity to dig deep, overcome some adversity, and learn a little bit about who you are. Because with the type of ambition that this team wants, for what they want for this season, they're going to really want to build upon what they're able to accomplish here tonight.
That was a pass interference penalty against the Friars, and Tully is hit for a loss.
And once again, number 99, big Preston Carey coming through the middle. He looks like he might be ready to play at Kyle Field, Texas A&M right now.
Now, Manucci said, look, it's obviously unique, right? The only other starter to have played varsity before was Duff, right? And he's obviously a special athlete, and you see the size that Carey brings as it's 2nd and 12 off that loss of 2. The pass goes to Tully, kicks it outside, finds a seam inside. A flag, though, is thrown. So we expect this to come back as well. But Preston Carey, as a 14-year-old, walks in just with ridiculous size and strength at 6'5", 270. You can't put someone that big to play freshman or JV football. People can get hurt.
It's literally a liability having him out on the field with kids his own age. Preston Carey, I've got a comp at the college level right now with a guy in Brian Brzee who plays for Clemson. He's a big 6'5", 300-pound nose tackle out of Damascus, Maryland. He was actually a #1 recruit in the entire country a few years back. And early on, from what I've seen out of Preston Carey, he's got the same build, same body type, and he's causing chaos on the inside, just like you'd expect out of a guy who's garnered that level of Power 5 interest and offers.
Now, the man-child, he does ask some freshman questions, as you would expect, Minucci said, but he's still green, but you can't teach size, that is for sure. Another flag as Dieguez kicks it outside, and we will go backwards right now for Chaminade. But that's what all those coaches, right, that we mentioned before, all the offers, they see the size on film, and you could coach them up technique-wise, but again, just 14 years old. You want to be the first in there to try to get him.
Absolutely. If you're a college coach, no safer bet than 6'5", 270 at 14. I mean, I'm terrified for what he's going to look like at 17 or 18. Hopefully, calms down a little bit. But boy, he's made his presence felt. And, something that's not easy, no matter how big you are. This is a really, really high-pressure environment, high stakes against your rival to open up your career as a varsity football player at St. Anthony's, and he's risen to the occasion.
We mentioned it before. Offers already for Carey from LSU, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Rutgers, and Georgia. 2nd and 31 from the 35-yard line. Dieguez rolls out to his right. He'll scamper and get checked out of bounds just shy of the 45.
And as we've said all night, this Chaminade offense is not designed for chunk plays. The last thing you need to be getting into is, 2nd and 30 type scenarios, 3rd and 20 type scenarios. Really a lot of their issues tonight have just been purely shooting themselves in the foot for Chaminade, and I think that's something that they're going to definitely need to clean up if they're hoping for this to be a fun first season back in the AAA.
Really everything Chaminade does just about offensively is that RPO, right? The run-pass option. 3rd and 21 from the Chaminade 43-yard line. Dieguez again, forced over the middle, and again taken down. Tyler Dunn with the sack.
Tyler Dunn just doing a great job making his presence known. Right there, Dieguez, I think is feeling maybe a little skittish. I think his clock has sped up a little bit, that internal clock that every quarterback has, but somewhat of a clean pocket there for him. Steps up perhaps a second too early, and Dunn does a great job capitalizing on it with the sack.
And Pat, you'll appreciate this as a former offensive lineman yourself. As I watched Dieguez leave the field, Mason Dietrich, his center, hand on his back, tapping him, telling him it's going to be all right.
And he's a great leader and a great person overall. Top student. I've read earlier the kind of offers that Dietrich has been able to garner. Lehigh, Marist, Amherst, some really elite academic institutions. But I think he's going to be a big force for them in the middle all year long. And right now, when times are tough, backs up against the wall, down by 18, end of the 3rd quarter, that's when you really need your seniors to step up and lead. And I think they're doing that right now on the Chaminade sideline.
On the St. Anthony's sideline, you got to think they smell blood here, and a great opportunity here to really put their rivals on their backs. 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line, 21-3 the lead here, late 3rd quarter. We're going to go hand off, and that's Ruda. Frank Ruda down the sideline. A big gain inside the 30-yard line for Frank Ruda.
And I thought he was sniffing the end zone a little bit there. 14 touchdowns last year, got very close to having his first of the 2022 season. But, yeah, Ruda, big play, and they're just starting to come in chunks right now for the St. Anthony's offense.
Those 45 yards there, and here is Duff again. KJ Duff making a miss, taking guys with them inside the 15-yard line.
I think part of the challenge is becoming for this Chaminade defense, every single play requires a good form tackle in open space, and that's just simply not an easy thing to do consistently. There's so much speed on the edges for St. Anthony's that, kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario a lot of times trying to scheme.
You've got Ruda behind Torres, 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. Ruda gets it, but this time he's got a couple of flyers to deal with.
And that's right there, Matt Rappa doing a great job getting his nose in there for the tackle for loss. He's going to keep fighting all the way through. A very proud senior right there helping out alongside Battaglia in the middle.
Yeah, Matty Rappa a year ago, 65 tackles, 10 for losses. Wasn't a starter, though. He earned that spot after like week 2, week 3, and he's been in there ever since. Under a minute left here in the third quarter. Torres, touchdown for St. Anthony's. There's so many receivers. We'll go to Jenkins for this one as it's an 18-yard score and St. Anthony's tacks on to their lead.
And what a joy it must be to call plays for the St. Anthony's offense because, it's kind of pick your poison for anybody scheming against them. As I just said, Jenkins, a guy probably 3rd, 4th receiver at St. Anthony's, probably a guy who'd be a number 1 for most teams throughout New York State. So, love seeing the senior step up, 6'2", 170, and getting the big touchdown catch to distance the lead.
Yeah, Penn State lacrosse commit is Jenkins as that PAT is good. 28-3 is the lead for St. Anthony's. 48 seconds left here in the third quarter. You're watching this New York Catholic Football League showdown presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
High school football fans, for exclusive content of the 2022 season, head to the Varsity Media Pass app. Weekly podcast, top 10 plays of the week, game highlights, and player interviews. All the content you need is right here on the Varsity Media Pass app. Available on iOS and Android. To order, visit varsitymediapass.com.
Welcome back to Cy Donnelly Field. It is all St. Anthony's, 28 unanswered points to this point. And they've got a 28-3 lead on their biggest rivals. These teams have played some really big games over the years, that is for sure, including 4 Catholic championship meetings. The last one you see there, 2013. Jordan Gowan's a big game for the Friars, 35-0. That was in response to a 17-16 win by Chaminade when Zane Wasp kicked the 33-yard field goal with 52 seconds left. That snapped an 18-game losing streak to St. Anthony's. Over the middle, that is incomplete for Dieguez. Let's pull that back up again if we can for a moment. You go back to 2002. What a battle that was, Pat, as well. 34-32, St. Anthony's repeats as champions. They extended their winning streak to 21 consecutive games, and you go back to 1994. St. Anthony's 21-18 winners over Chaminade. Tony Williams rushed for 146 yards. St. Anthony's 14 AAA titles to their name. They had 7 in a row from 2001 to 07. Their last was in 13. Hand off to Tully. Up to middle. Chaminade, conversely, with 4 AAA championships, their last in 2012.
So, you look at the history, going back for Chaminade, there's a roadmap that you can be successful at this level in AAA. So I think, they're going to got to do some digging throughout the rest of this game, get some positive momentum, some things that they can build upon for the rest of their season, and, see if you can compete. You got some great senior leadership, and, there's a tough test out of the gate, but a lot to learn on Nightside tonight.
3 quarters in the books here. Game 1 for us here at Varsity Media. It is St. Anthony's 28, Chaminade 3. You're watching this New York Catholic Football League showdown presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
The full moon is out here in South Huntington, and it is the Friars who are jumping around all over the Flyers. There's their student section. It's not Wisconsin, right? But they've got it pumping right now as it's a whiteout, as you mentioned before.
Shades of Penn State, shades of Wisconsin. They got the whiteout, and they're playing jump around. So
Jaden Jenkins will like that. He's going to Penn State to play lacrosse.
No doubt, and I know we've spoken to this before, but really just an elite atmosphere that St. Anthony's puts forth on Friday nights. Their student section has shown out, and you're not going to really find a more electric place to watch football on a Friday night in the New York area.
4th and 6, so Tomlinson will have to punt the football away. Strong was the deep man, and he'll head to Rutgers after his senior year to play for Greg Schiano and the Scarlet Knights, a big opening season win over Boston College.
No doubt, Rutgers, a program that really wants to make its presence known in the greater New York metropolitan area. Coach Schiano obviously loves his Jersey boys, but I think he's going to see, in a couple weeks at the Rumble at the Raritan, New York football brings some crazy talent to the table, and we're seeing a lot of it on display tonight.
You see the numbers for Jaden Jenkins: 4 receptions, 40 yards, 1 touchdown, and I think that's one of the biggest things. I don't think there's another team in New York State that has the receiving core and the number of game breakers in that department than St. Anthony's does.
It's really uncanny how they piece this together. I'm sure there's a lot of people who'd like to take some tips from Coach Minucci on how to attract talent to your school, but boy, do they have it in spades here at St. Anthony's.
But it's pretty easy. You show them a Friday night like this, right? Who doesn't want to be a part of this?
Plus, for those guys who hate practicing in the rain, they got a beautiful indoor facility we're staring out at. Really unmatched facilities at the high school level, probably around the country, here at St. Anthony's.
Morant with a loss of a couple. It'll be 2nd and 12 from the 30-yard line. Hand off up the middle. And another great run by Morant. That's the other part of it too, right? You could talk all you want about the receivers, but you've got Ruda and Morant in your running game, and they can hurt you there too.
They force you to play honest. I think Chaminade would have loved to drop 8 and, really try to confuse Dante Torres as much as possible, but they have to play honest with the kind of ground and pound they're getting out of Morant and Ruda.
As you would expect, with a 28-3 lead, the Friars have put it on the ground. And it'll be a 3rd and about 2. And it'll be an official's timeout. I think it's for the spot. Let's see if they give him.
And I do just want to say, I've been very impressed with the performance of the St. Anthony's offensive line. Since about halfway through the first quarter, they've settled in and done a great job, both getting a push in the ground game and giving ample protection to Dante Torres. Really, I'm looking at guys, Carson Chanchuli, Christian Oliva, Ryan Murphy, the seniors. They're big boys leading the way up front. But maybe even more so, I'm impressed with the left guard, Matthew McGregor, the center, Billy Dowling, who's both only sophomores. Dowling has been seamless in getting the ball back there to Dante Torres all night, and they've been holding up against a very talented front seven for Chaminade. So really kudos to those guys for stepping up in a big way in the career debuts in the case of McGregor and Dowling.
And you got McNaughton as well as a sophomore. Chris Novelli is a junior. So outside of Chanchuli and Oliva and Murphy, you're very young on the offensive line. So first time under the lights for them. They're going to go here, 4th and 1 under center. Goes Torres, and what a burst, huh? Right under center, right. I think that was Dowling, right? Number 75 just followed him forward, and they moved the chains.
And that shows you right there some of the confidence that Joe Minucci has in his young offensive line right in front of him. Going right behind Billy Dowling, 6'1", 265, as only a 15-year-old. That's pretty crazy to me. But he's been really doing a great job all night of holding it down and gets the key yard right there, and they needed it.
Another handoff, and it goes to Morant. He gets out towards midfield.
Nice play by Luke Ventura, getting off the block and being the first guy to make contact right there. He's been very active at the nose guard position and doing a really good job, the 275-pound senior in the middle for Chaminade.
2nd and 5 for St. Anthony's. Torres goes to Duff. You get him into space, good things happen. KJ Duff makes a few guys miss. Good open field tackle there, but obviously a first down as Friel is the one who was able to eventually catch him, but
not what St. Anthony's wants to see right there. KJ Duff limping off the field, and it looks like he's in a lot of pain. Let's hope this is just maybe a cramp. It's a bit of a warmer night earlier in the season.
Yeah, the way they're stretching him out, Pat, it would speak to it being a cramp.
But boy, has he put on a show for us tonight. He's worth the price of admission every time.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. Morant going nowhere. Nice tackle there.
That looked like Battaglia once again charging in there, making the nice TFL. What really strikes me about these Chaminade linebackers is how well they're coached and how quickly they're able to make a read on the football. These guys have been doing a great job all night getting up there and defending the run. Obviously, there's some challenges for this defense in terms of the amount of types of guys that you have to cover for St. Anthony's. But those two guys in the middle, Rappa and Battaglia, have really shown out tonight.
2nd and 13. And Morant, it's not that thunder and lightning, right? Because Ruda also brings a physicality, but Morant, man, he hits the hole hard. There's no doubt about that.
He absolutely runs with purpose. And I think, maybe that is a result of some of the talent that St. Anthony's has on their offense. These guys are all studs in their own right, but no, hey, I got to make the most of my touches because if I don't, the next guy will. And that really leads to great competition that I think these guys have gone through all offseason to get them ready for nights like tonight.
3rd and 8 for the Friars. Torres fakes the handoff. And he's got options. Slings it back over the middle. That is complete. To the outside. Touchdown, St. Anthony's.
And it's Jaden Jenkins again, the Penn State lax commit with his 2nd touchdown of the night. And just another scenario of pick your poison. You think you've got Miles accounted for, you think you got Duff accounted for. Well, guess what? Number 80 right here over the middle is going to come through. And you see some great blocking at the top of your screen right there by number 17 for St. Anthony's, Nick Matos. And, what I love is these guys work together as a union, these wide receivers, to make sure that they can get the most yards after catch possible every time they touch a ball.
PAT, kick is up, and it is good. Thought it was going to be out there in Wolf Hill Road. 6:44 left in the fourth quarter. It is all St. Anthony's. The Friars extend their lead to 35-3. You're watching this New York Catholic Football League showdown presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
We welcome you back to Cy Donnelly Field. 35 unanswered points for the Friars. They've got a lot of receivers, and we've got a lot to present to you on the Varsity Media Pass. You got top 10 plays, highlights, podcasts, interviews, and more. It's available on iOS and Android, varsitymediapass.com.
And if you're anything like me, which is just a glutton for as much football as you can possibly consume, the Varsity Media Pass is your go-to option. We're going to be covering public, we're going to be covering private all season long. And, when you look at the landscape of New York football this year, you got star power, you've got parity, everything you're really looking for across the board is going to be coming at you over the course of the next couple months of this 2022 season. So make sure that you capitalize it in the best way you can by downloading that Varsity Media Pass.
You know what I love about Varsity Media Pass, and I've likened it to a football week as, look at that, great return. They do not stop, right? Do these Flyers. That was Gavin Creo. But here's how I liken the Varsity Media Pass, right? On game nights, right, there's more to football than game night, right? There's everything that happens during the week. And for us, it's the same. We're going to talk about what we just saw. We're going to talk about what's ahead. We're going to show you those highlights. We've got our rankings, all of that right there on Varsity Media Pass. So it's everything leading up to game day and also returning to the previous game day as well.
And when you dive in, one of the things that makes high school football around here so fun is just those different storylines and different dramatic elements that come into play. College football gets a lot of credit for being that way, but I think the way we're going to document it for you this season on Varsity Media Pass, you'll see a lot to get excited about across the board in New York football.
Tully with the run. And one thing that Kevin Dolan did say is that, listen, whatever happens on Friday night, it doesn't define our season, right? It is one game in the grand scheme of things. It is game one. It is not game 9 or 10. So there's certainly things to clean up. But listen, if you go to Cy Donnelly Field and you play what some believe to be maybe the best team in the Catholic Football League, while there are things to clean up, there's a lot of positivity ahead as well. Diegas, stiff arms, gets it to the outside, and he's wrestled out of bounds.
One thing I could definitely build off of if I'm Kevin Dolan is just, the incredible toughness that Matt Diegas has shown. This is his first year being the full-time starter, with this being his offense. And, even though things have been clicking the way that he wanted them to tonight, he's really shown immense toughness and his ability to scramble, extend plays. I think that's something really big they can build off of. And, oh, by the way, you're getting, having a tough time against St. Anthony's right now. But if St. Anthony's is the best team in the Catholic League this year, they're the best team in New York State this year. So, you have to take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt when you're coming into Cy Donnelly Field, a harsh environment like this.
Diegas' pass to Creo is incomplete. And I think if you're Joe Spagnuolo and the Gales of Iona Prep, you might Want to say something about the best team in New York State, because last fall that's who they were. And Archbishop Stepanak, their biggest rival, of course, with Coach O.D., they return a lot as well. That's what makes this league, for my money, the best in New York State, because that's just your top 3 teams, right? You've got Cardinal Hayes at 4, Chaminade at 5, Farrell at 6, who, oh, by the way, they were in the championship game a year ago.
And you know what's crazy, too, about this season in particular is, those top 3 teams being Stepanak, being Iona, and St. Anthony's, all are bringing back a tremendous amount of offensive firepower. All 3 have quarterbacks coming back for their, senior year. I guess Currid is going to be a junior. But, a Johnny Shepard, an Old Dominion commit at Iona Prep, going up against a guy like Dante Torres, in about a month's time. Who's going to step up? There's stars all across the board, and something's got to give, and that's just another reason I'm so pumped to be standing here next to you all season long.
Good job by Tully, bouncing it to the outside. Little stutter step, cuts inside, gets to the 30 for a first down run. I like what we've seen from Jack Tully.
Yeah, Tully has been scrappy. I think we knew he was going to be a tough kid, bring a lot to the table, given his lacrosse background and what a big recruit he is on that side of things. But, hasn't always had the biggest holes to work with, hasn't had an easy time tonight, but just keeps putting his nose in there, keeps fighting. You got to love that out of your junior, who still has a lot of time to grow and develop as this season progresses.
And Pat, you know what else you love about him as well? He is a film rat, just loves to get in there, studies film. There he is again, turning inside, but a host of Friars push him backwards.
Right there, incredible job by Dietrich, Rinaldi, and Burmis on the right-hand side of the offensive line. Really just clearing a giant hole there. I don't think Tully was touched until he got about 2 or 3 yards downfield. That's the kind of play that is going to make this Chaminade offense as the year progresses. They're going to have to learn how to consistently get that 3 or 4 yards they need it and avoid shooting themselves in the foot. If they're able to do that, I think all of a sudden this offense looks very different in a couple weeks.
2nd and 6 from the 24-yard line. Diegues. Good job eluding a would-be tackler. There is a flag down, though, so this one should come back as he scampered for a first down run. One thing to note, too, Pat, as well, and again, there'll be no excuses, certainly from Kevin Dolan as he regroups his guys after this one watches film, but you're down a starting receiver, a regular starting receiver in Frankie Cerrone, right, the tough senior from Throgsneck in the Bronx, and then Pat Graham is his backup, but he's out as well. So you kind of go third there with a Jack Francesa joining the likes of Correa, Creo, and Bruno, but that puts a little more tax, if you will, on a guy like Correa, on a guy like Creo, right, where maybe you don't have as many more options down the field.
Exactly, and I think if you're Chaminade, you know that you really need to be at full strength to show up away at St. Anthony's and come home victorious. St. Anthony's just has so many different weapons and such a propensity to score points that they might have fallen a little bit short tonight, but at least they have something to look forward to as potentially these guys recover.
2nd and 19 run for Tully, and you love Dietrich, right? The guys are around him, and he's just pushing dudes away, making sure that his running back can get up. And listen, Dietrich we had him on our preview show, a great guy, right? But you don't want to get the big man angry. 6'4", 275 is the center, the returning starter, Mason Dietrich.
One of the beautiful things about the offensive line position is, at the end of the game, regardless of that scoreboard, you can look at the guy across from you, and you both know who won. Some of these interior O-linemen for Chaminade might not be happy with the score, but they've certainly shown why they're a heralded offensive line in the Catholic League.
How about that by Diegues, huh? Gets into space and throws a bullet. Looks like he found, I think it might have been Chaminade, number 85, downfield. And this is what you do a lot, right, late in the game. You're back in the AAA. You're not necessarily playing for this week, but you're playing for the future weeks. And how, again, do you respond to adversity?
Absolutely. I think it's a big point in the game right now for Chaminade to punch it in, to have something to build off of offensively going into next week. It's going to be a long season. They knew that they had to, grow throughout the year in order to compete at the top level of Catholic football. And, you got punched in the mouth, but the real test of a team is how you respond from that. I think everybody knew that St. Anthony's is a team to be reckoned with, and it's been a tough night, but I think here's an opportunity for Chaminade to go home with something to be proud of.
Tully pushes forward inside the 10.
And they just keep fighting right now. Impressed alongside, the fight and the resolve of the Chaminade offense. Impressed with this St. Anthony's defense. We haven't maybe given them enough credit tonight, but they really have played shutdown ball from the start. Started the game off in really bad territory with their backs up against their own end zone. Were able to hold Chaminade to a field goal, and since then it's been lights out. This defense has stepped up in a big way, and their offense might get the most attention, but the defense of St. Anthony's done well. I say this as they give up a touchdown.
Diegues gets into the end zone, and you love to see that, man, from your quarterback, right? He's still balling at the end. Pocket collapses, cuts inside, and also shows the physicality as he gets to the end zone. 6'2", 190-pound senior Matthew Diegues.
And you got to love a quarterback who's willing to lower his shoulder. Not much time left in the game here tonight, less than a minute, but he's still giving everything that he's got to the very last whistle. I think that's one of the reasons why Matt Diegues is such a dynamic leader for this Flyer team.
PAT by Tomlinson is up, and it is good. 32 seconds left in this one. It is 35-10, the lead for St. Anthony's. You're watching this New York Catholic Football League Showdown presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
High school football fans, for exclusive content of the 2022 season, head to the Varsity Media Pass app. Weekly podcasts, top 10 plays of the week, game highlights, and player interviews. All the content you need is right here on the Varsity Media Pass app. Available on iOS and Android. To order, visit varsitymediapass.com.
Back here at Cy Donnelly Field, Friday Night Lights, a rivalry renewed. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey with you as the Friars look to close out an impressive Week 1 win over their arch rivals. And a fumble by Jenkins, and I think the Flyers have recovered. Not the way, if you're Joe Minucci and you're in the Friars, that you want to end this football game. Actually, St. Anthony's does recover, so you can probably just get to victory formation and close this one out.
I think tonight has been an emphatic statement by the Friars that, hey, we're here this year and we're here to win it all. I know that a lot of those guys have very fresh in their memory some painful tight losses to Stepanak and to Iona Prep last year. They know that those guys are sitting at home watching Varsity Media tonight, trying to size up the competition. And I think St. Anthony sent a big-time message that says, hey, if you're going to play us, you better buckle up and be ready to cover on the edges, to tackle in open space, and to do so consistently, because if you don't, this is the type of offense that will burn you all day long.
So this will be the last play, certainly, of this game. Next up for St. Anthony's, St. Joe's at Rutgers. St. Joe's right now taking on Don Bosco Prep on MSG Network. I've got that one on the DVR. I'm going to watch that one when I get home. But that's part of that incredible battle at the bridge, or battle for the bridge, as the final here is 35-10. St. Anthony's, they had to wait a few years. You go back to 2018, the last regular season meeting between these two. That was won early in September by St. Anthony's, 42-14. And they followed that one up here with a 35-10 win. We'll take a break and we'll return with the Catholic Health players of the game. 2 of them for the Friars. This is the New York Catholic Football League presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
High school football fans, for exclusive content of the 2022 season, head to the Varsity Media Pass app. Weekly podcasts, top 10 plays of the week, game highlights, and player interviews. All the content you need is right here on the Varsity Media Pass app. Available on iOS and Android. To order, visit varsitymediapass.com.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Varsity Media covers every sport at every level from every angle. Game film, recruiting videos, highlight videos, sportscasts.
That's complete. First down and more. Touchdown, Oceanside.
Photography, live streaming. You name it, we offer it. Don't leave your video needs to amateurs. Trust the pros. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
We welcome you back to Cy Donnelly Field. St. Anthony's, a 35-10 win over Chaminade. Ben Turchin is on the field with the Catholic Health player of the game, Dante Torres.
All right, thank you, Dylan. We're here with the Catholic Health player of the game, Dante Torres. These are video game stats, 20 of 26, 341 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. The beginning of the game, it was a little jittery. It was the first game, but that didn't seem to matter after the first couple of drives. What happened in the first quarter, and then tell us about the rest of the game.
So last year, we lost a couple of heartbreaking games, and the reason why is came out flat or we ended flat. And I don't know what it was today, but we just came out flat, and we just weren't having it. We all had a group meeting. We talked on the offense. Line, wake up. Receivers, wake up. Running backs, wake up. I need to wake up. Threw a pick in the first drive. It's the first week, yeah, but that's not an excuse. We need to come out as the good football team we are. We need to play great. We need to come out aggressive, physical, and we can't have those mental mistakes.
You spread the ball to 5 different receivers in this game today, but obviously KJ Duff is your number 1 receiver, 6 grabs, 195 yards, and 2 touchdowns. What did you see today? Is it any different than any other games? Is it possible that he's better this year? But talk about the connection that you and him have.
I think a big part of our connection is off the field. Like, he's probably my best friend. I hang out with him the most. I play Xbox with him the most. I call him the most. We hang out the most. And that's a big thing, just trusting that he's going to do his thing and I'm going to do my thing. And on the field, it's a different story. Like, you guys can see for yourself, like, he's something special. Like, he's going to play somewhere big and he's going to make a name for himself. And the connection we have is just amazing because he just makes it so easy for me. And I have my line up front, and they just make it so easy for it. He's a big target, fast target. It's hard to miss him.
By the way, we should say that there should be more yardages to their stats today because there was a touchdown that was called back that shouldn't have been called back. So you easily could be close to 400 yards passing. Do you have any goals for this season? Are there any numeric goals for you, or is it just to win a championship at the end of the year?
I would like to have a number, but I don't have anything specific. More than last year, more rushing than last year, more touchdowns, and more wins. I don't want a single loss this year, and we have a special team here, and I really think we could do it.
Well, after tonight, you're off to a great start. Congratulations, and good luck the rest of the way. Dante Torres, our Catholic Health Player of the Game. Dylan, we send it back up to you.
Thanks, Ben. And what a day for Dante Torres. You see those numbers right there, 20 of 26, 341, 4 passing touchdowns, Pat, 1 rushing score. And again, for me, the most impressive part of that whole thing is it came after you have an INT in your first possession. He showed his maturity again tonight and really got into a great rhythm. And look, this is a guy who's got a ton of varsity experience, right? So he's played in all those big games, had those tough losses last year to Iona, to Stepanak, on the road in double overtime in the playoffs to Iona. He's looking to be the better quarterback because of those tough experiences as a junior.
No doubt. And I think we learned a lot about the character of this St. Anthony's team and St. Anthony's offense tonight. You know, St. Anthony's is a team that prides itself on the ability to put up a lot of points. Coming out the gate, you know, they're held scoreless in the first quarter, 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. And I think there's a lot of people shaking up on the St. Anthony's sidelines, kind of, wondering what's happening. And, Dante Torres didn't let it get to him, just stayed relaxed, kept doing what he does, and by extending plays, making good decisions, accurate throws, and getting the ball into the hands of his playmakers. And another really impressive thing is this guy did it by distributing the ball all around the field to a variety of different guys. I want to say probably 7 or 8 guys had receptions tonight for this Friar team, and that's something you never see at the high school level. So it's kind of a pick-your-poison type attack from the St. Anthony's Friars, and led by a trusted senior quarterback like Dante Torres. I think Joe Minucci has a lot of confidence in his team's character and ability to continue to thrive as this season develops.
He did go to a lot of different guys, Nick Matos, Miles, Jaden Jenkins as well, found the end zone, Alex Mengi, but of course his favorite target is KJ Duff, and Duff absolutely balled out. 7 receptions, 195 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And it almost looked, I don't want to say easy, right? But it was just like the formula was you get KJ into space and let KJ do what KJ does best.
Yeah, I think, it's not shocking to me that KJ looks like an even better player than he was last year, because this past offseason he's been hitting the national recruiting trail, going to very competitive FBS camps all across the country, and that makes you battle-tested. So you get out here, and he's been going up against other Division I recruits all summer long. Now he's back, in his backyard, and it looked like he was having fun out there tonight. I'm scared for what 2 more years of KJ Duff playing in the Catholic League means for his opponents. But, boy, if tonight was any indication of what's in store the rest of this year, it might be a historic season for KJ Duff and the St. Anthony's Friars.
It was fun for Duff, and it was fun for us as well. We've got some great games coming up again. We want to show you those upcoming sportscasts we have for you here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. We head out to Ward Melville. A Suffolk 1 showdown between Longwood and Ward Melville. Saturday afternoon, we head out to Northport, where Hills East and Northport do battle. A week later, we're in the 5-1-6. It's North Shore and Seaford. A Nassau 4 showdown, and then a battle of perennial powerhouses in Nassau 1. The Chiefs and the Red Devils get it going on the 23rd. As well. So that'll about do it here from Cy Donnelly Field. Want to thank Ron Pierre, Angelo Caiezo, Michael Scrow, of course Ben Turchin, Chris Sweeney, and my broadcast partner as well, Pat Godfrey. Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time on the Varsity Media Sports Network.